Namaste, angels. Thank you for joining, liking, sharing, subscribing to my readings, for trusting me with your private readings, your energy healing, that of members of your family, your children, your pets, all of that. You trust me with it. I'm so very blessed and I'm so very thankful and wanting to make sure that I absolutely say thank you and show you that I'm thank you, particularly with what's going on with YouTube and how my channel and or your channel may be affected. Some changes that they've made at YouTube or Google are going into effect as of December 10th. And basically, they've just reserved the right to shut down everybody, which we can reserve the right to shut down everybody's channel and possibly even their entire Google account if we're not satisfied with the amount of money that they make for us. So just putting it out there. I don't know what changes, like I said, if any, will actually affect us. But I just want all my subs to know how I feel about them and how appreciative I am. Capricorn. All right. Even more so, y'all and your fellow earth signs, I'm appreciative of when it comes to these astrological readings. And that's why I'm doing y'all's reading first. So you're third, because I just did it in order of the zodiac. I started with Taurus, and then I moved on to Virgo, and now I'm up to you. But essentially, you're first, right? If you're not first, you're last. That's what Ricky Bobby said. And you guys are first. So you absolutely are not last, whereas normally you would be close to it. You got a really nice spread here, but I want to start out before I start talking to everybody. There's some Capricorns that I see I need to talk to, some in particular, maybe just one even. Somebody's got a family situation, maybe involving an air sign. Well, first of all, let me start from here. On November 25th, Venus, ruler of the signs of Libra, Major Arcana card Justice is one of your overall energies. Fair decisions will be made after all of the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. All right, that's one of your overall energies. Also, you have in your position of work and finance, Major Arcana card Justice again, but in reverse this time, representing this placement. So again, Justice represents the sign of Libra and the planet Venus, which is Libra's ruler. Libra also rules your fellow earth sign, Taurus, as well as another air sign, Gemini. And I hadn't realized it before, but also it was here upside down. So normally I wouldn't even mention it. But underneath this Justice card is more Venus energy. So I think that may be why you guys have so much in your spread here. And let me show you what you have here in case you can't see. The card most directly representing you, your energy, this 2-week period is the King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And maybe even Venus herself, again, the ruler of Libra, Taurus, and Gemini, or maybe Mercury himself, also a ruler of Gemini, as well as your fellow earth sign, Virgo. Some of you may have this air in your chart, or be dealing with an air sign. I'm not sure. But right next to the king is the Queen of Swords in reverse. Queen, of course, also possibly directly an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, someone likened to those traits or attributes, or Venus herself, Mercury himself, very, very possibly. The two not only showing up in the spread together, but right next to each other is indicative of a couple. For some, this has to do with love, romance, relationship. And you got an overall energy on this deck of the Page of Swords upright. So, of course, also potentially a direct air sign and or representative of the planets that rule the air signs. Uranus, Venus, I think most likely, because like I said, Venus entered your sign on November 25th, and Mercury. I think these show up like this for somebody, and I hadn't realized it, but on this upright also, right behind it is the Two of Pentacles, which indicates we need some balance, as can Justice can also mean that balance is really necessary. People think that like the sign of Libra or Major Arcana card Justice is about, like Libra's being honest and stuff. It's quite the contrary, actually. A trait of the sign of Libra is like lying and cheating. It's funny. It's pretty, because it's so contrast to what the card seems to symbolize. But they really represent, this scale is really the scales of balance. So Libra, very representative of the energy of balance, more so than justice. In the legal sense and all of that, of the word that we think about it. So the Two of Pentacles also can show up stating that there's a need for balance, particularly with regard to earthly matters. And it may involve some sort of party of threes. We got this boat back here. Or even more than three people. Could be four. A group. Like this boat back here. Looks like 4 sails. And then there's another one over here with 2 sails. That could be a partnership too. And he's juggling. And since it's of the earth element, like you guys, it tends for me to be this decision, or the areas in which we need to find balance and room for everything and priorities, is something of the earthly. So work, maybe you're working too much, and like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, Jill a dull girl. You need time for your family. Something like that could be coming up. Also, though, the Page of Swords can be about like pushing too hard, doing too much. It's something that you're doing is coming across disingenuous, and it's not that you are being fake. You're just really trying hard because you want something to work out. I think for some of you, this is why I wanted to stop and talk about this first. This is a family this is a divorced family, a separated family, or a family that's going through that now. And you're just trying really hard. I think the mother, she's the one that's here upside down, more so than the father. And maybe even the kids live with the father, or they're close to the father, and you're sort of on the outs with them. You're on the outside somewhat, at least. And maybe you're fixing your relationship, and that could be why it's here atop the 4 of Wands, which can be about the whole household or family and love and happiness in general. So maybe you've been mending your relationship, but you're pushing too hard. You're pushing too hard. It's chasing energy. And so I understand if you want to reunite with your child, or mend a relationship with your child, a better relationship with your child, deepen the commitment, but that pushing hard will backfire. And I don't think you're doing it on purpose. I'm not getting, like I said, I'm not getting like the feeling of someone's feelings or efforts being fake, or like for show or whatever. But it's coming across as too much, and it's coming across potentially disingenuous, and that's not what you want to put out there. So again, then it could be any parent, or maybe even the child who's doing that, but I'm feeling more so that it is the mother specifically, and that maybe she's even, like I said, the one on the outs, and either the children are closer to the father, or they live with the father, or both. And this can even be adult children. The page is just showing up because this page is representative of of the child. There's somebody that's younger than you and the king. But it could be adult child also. Like I said, that's very specific for someone or someones. And, I pray that I reach those people for whom it is. For the rest of you, let's take a look at the King of Swords. Well, not just for the rest of you, for all of you, for everybody now. Let's take a look at the King of Swords. And I hope I made sense with this before. It's just like, like stepping on somebody's toes, pushing too hard, trying too hard. You guys get the idea, right? And these earth signs, I say it like as if I'm not an earth sign. I mean, earth sign, air signs. I say it as if I'm not an air sign myself. Very, very, like matter of fact and blunt, and like strong-willed, opinionated. And the king in particular comes across very, very powerful, no nonsense, forceful. You can't change him. You can't necessarily change his mind. Although his positive attributes is that in instances of like justice. He is very fair, very diplomatic, like capable of looking at both sides of a situation, viewing both sides of it, or all sides of a situation, and then making an assessment. Again, that once he makes that assessment, it'll be very opinionated. You sort of got to take him as he is. If you're in a relationship with him, a romantic relationship with him, you got to take him as he is. He won't be, like bending to your will. This is your energy, though. This is the card that's most representative of you guys over the next 2 weeks. And again, maybe because Venus entered your sign, although this is a man, a male or masculine energy that's showing up on the card with the form of the king. He can also, for me, the King of Swords, often be a judge, a lawyer. And with these two cards of justice, for some, there's again, like I said, some energy that's representative of separation, divorce for some people. But then in your position of love and relationship, you got the Four of Wands upright. So I do think for some of you, this is like an older relationship. This is the one you let go. And maybe, we don't get rid of our children or their parents when we move on. Some of you may have a situation coming up where you're about to marry your new person, or you're about to become engaged to your new person, or somehow that commitment is stepping up, it's becoming stronger. And so that can have some sort of effect or involvement of the other people that were previously, your immediate family. So ex-husband, ex-wife, or baby mama, baby daddy, whatever you want to call it. And of course, the children from that relationship also becoming involved in a situation here with you in the present that's coming up over the next 2 weeks. But again, your home is happy and your relationship is happy, and the commitment is stepping it up, is deepening. For those of you who are single, a very, very strong potential to meet somebody right now, maybe even actually at an event, perhaps someone else's wedding, or some sort of affair, maybe a holiday party or something like that. You go as a guest, you go as a date, you meet somebody there. It's an opportunity for real, genuine love, like true love, that you could be picking up here over the next 2 weeks. All right, let's move on to work and finance. Yeah, I think so. All right, so again, we have major arcana card Justice in reverse here. But before I speak specifically about Justice in reverse, I want to talk about what it means for the King of Swords to also be involved here, because again, justice represents an air sign, Libra. So this King of Swords could, in fact, be this person's energy too. And when the King of Swords shows up as it relates to work, there could be somebody at your job. I mean, it might be an actual man. Again, further to that, maybe he is indeed a direct air sign. I don't know if you would know that or not, if it's somebody with whom you work. Maybe you don't even know that. But it might be an actual air sign. Dark-haired, maybe even dark-eyed, stuff like that. Very, very stern type of person. And he might talk to you in a way with which you're not comfortable. He's a very man's man type, and again, very stern, very, like stereotypical alpha style. This person, very macho, like they say, man's man type. He may even be like the boss or a position to hire you. And so you may feel like you have to impress him. You don't have to kiss his ass though. And you don't have to allow him to be offensive to you. But at the same time, you don't be so quick to be offended, because he may not. This is just like the way he talks. He's just doing his job, and he just talks like this, like it's him. It's not you. It's him, and he's like that with everybody. So it's nothing personal. So make sure that if you're getting, like I said, you may find the way he talks or his approach, bothersome or concerning, but unless you are like legitimately offended, let's try to like leave it alone. Now, speaking specifically about Major Arcana card Justice in reverse as it relates to work, it's possible that you're being treated unfairly. So it could be the same guy. And it's funny because I just talked to Virgo and I said that there was a douchebag at their job. Not necessarily one as powerful as maybe at your job or, have the potential to affect you. But, I said there's like one person. Now, at your job, some of you may be being treated unfairly. And it may not be just one person. It may be like the environment there. It's just not a good time to be thinking like short term. And so if they're going through that and you want out, it's a time to actually put out your resumes and start considering looking for something, but not to just be like, I quit, like I can't take this anymore. Like, don't cut off your nose to spite your face. It's not a good time for that when these kind of cards show up. And maybe there's somebody from whom you can seek advice. A friend, somebody that you can trust. And the funny thing is, the friend may be an air sign too. A Queen of Swords that's upright, for example, or a King of Swords that's upright. And again, this is somebody who will look at all sides for you and give you an honest assessment from their perspective, what they pick up from what you're saying, and give you their honest opinion of what it is they feel you should do. Things may be foul at work. You may say this is unjust, right? Because like justice in reverse is like injustice, right? Like unjust. So you may feel that that's what's happening, but you definitely just got to think long term and plan like more long term too. Specifically finances. If you're waiting for an answer on something having to do with a financial issue, maybe that's what's going on at the job. Maybe you asked for a raise or it's bonus time and you're saying like, where's mine or whatever. You're probably going to have to wait a little longer. So, try to be patient and don't get offended. Don't get upset yet. In terms of spending, you may want to be a little bit prudent. And actually, this came up in the general reading for everybody too. So that may just be the energy right now. I wouldn't gamble this week or, for the next 2 weeks if I were you. I'm not saying that, a Capricorn is about to be broke or anything like that. Just spend wisely. And everything will be good again soon. This is just 2 weeks through which we have to make it. But you know what? You guys are surrounded by love and happiness in the meantime. And so who needs money? Like, we can live on love. We'll just move right into the Four of Wands and what it means for you. When it comes up, it's pretty straightforward. Everybody knows about this card in the tarot when they see it. It's like, yay, when it comes up, with their love relationship, because it can even mean marriage. If you're looking for love, you're single, again, special events, you could really meet somebody at a birthday party, even something maybe for a children's event. Maybe a child's birthday party or something, a bat mitzvah, confirmation party, again, Hanukkah party, Christmas party, Thanksgiving gathering, or, I know we have Thanksgiving already, but once the holidays kick off, it's kind of like it's just holiday time. So somebody could be having some sort of like post, okay, we spent Thanksgiving with our own families and now we're getting together with other people, or because the holidays are coming up before we get too close to Christmas, let's have our holiday party, whatever. Or some people like to get married, right, at Christmas time, or they get engaged at Christmas time, engagement party, all those kind of things. Perfect opportunities for you to meet somebody. So if you get an invite to go out and be social, make it your business to attend. Those of you who are already committed, I just see good things coming for you. again, with the exception of those of you who may have been, married or in some sort of serious relationship before, and particularly those of you who have children, something may be going on with that. And maybe, again, because you are getting married or because you are getting engaged, that may be why it's happening. The whole family has to become involved and have a sit down, have a talk. Mommy's moving on, daddy's moving on, whatever it is. But you'll get through this, okay? Remember, at the end of the day, this justice is upright. And it's overall energy, and in your position of love and relationship, the Four of Wands is upright. So I say no worries. I'll be back for you guys again in 2 weeks. Thank you for watching the video, for joining me today. Please do give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or you found it at all helpful, conducive to your life, resonant in your life. Please do give it a thumbs up. Continue to support the videos, and let's try to remain on YouTube unaffected. I do appreciate it. Anything else that you would like from me, my services, the merchandise, just to talk to me on social media, whatever, all the information to do any and all of that will be in the description box below. Namaste.